"Your English is really good for someone who just moved here," remarked a classmate last year mid-conversation. To which I replied with a confused, "Well, yeah, it is my first language, so..." Apparently, the way I spoke led to the misunderstanding that English was new or unfamiliar to me, that it was foreign, even though this couldn't be further from the truth. I had been judged solely because of my accent, and it had been completely unconscious. So today, let's look at what accentuates a speaker's pronunciation before stressing the causes and effects of our perceptions of accents. Due to increased global connectivity, more and more people around the world have started to speak a second language. Today, 1.5 billion people around the world speak English, and a majority of them aren't even native speakers. When a person who speaks one language speaks a different one, they employ linguistic features of their own native tongue, resulting in what we call a foreign accent. And these small variations in speech patterns lead to us discriminating against people and forming assumptions based on perceptions that we have about their accents. Research by Washington University shows that it takes us less than 30 seconds to linguistically profile a speaker and make snap judgments about their ethnic origin, socioeconomic class, background, and values. We form a hierarchical view of accents based on social and cultural acceptability and assign values like friendliness and intelligence to them. And we usually do it without realizing. Looking through Rate My Professor, I found that professors with foreign accents, well, more foreign accents, like Chinese, Korean, Indian, and African, received a surplus of negative reviews saying that they were too accent-heavy and difficult to understand, just because of their accents. But with more conventionally acceptable and appealing accents like British, Irish, and Scottish, the reviews look more like this: more engaging, interesting, fun, and generally just more appealing. This isn't just true for foreign accents. A 2012 study at the University of Chicago by Catherine Kunzler and Jasmine DeJesus examines children's attitudes towards accents. Taking samples from Illinois and Tennessee, they asked a group of 5 to 6-year-olds about Northern and Southern accents. Neither group showed any indication of bias, but then the same study was performed on a group of 9 and 10-year-olds. And both groups overwhelmingly stated that the Northern accent sounded smarter and more in charge, while the Southern one sounded nicer. This indicates that children begin to form opinions about accents and assign them to people's personalities starting around the age of 9. An interesting aspect of this study is that these views were held unanimously across the board, regardless of region, meaning that children from Tennessee, who frequently encountered authority figures who spoke with a Southern accent and even spoke with one themselves, still perceived the Northern accent to be more assertive. A big influence on how we perceive different accents is the media we consume. And we all know TV is obviously the most reliable source of information, right? Well, my favorite TV show growing up was Phineas and Ferb. And one of my favorite characters, Baljeet, is Indian, like me. He spoke with a pronounced and fake-sounding Indian accent, even more pronounced than me, and I actually spent most of my life there, whereas the actor who voices him was born in Ohio. Baljeet loves studying, and that's how he plans to spend his summer while his friends go off on adventures. You have 3 guesses to what his favorite subject was. At one point during the show, he even has a 3-minute song called "Give Me a Grade," where he sings about the importance of getting straight A's and his need for academic validation. Somebody give me a grade and make it an A. I wish, Baljeet, I wish. But as much as I would love for everyone, especially my teachers, to believe that all Indians are naturally smart and only deserve to get A's, at the end of the day, the character was comic relief and consisted of a combination of misconstrued stereotypes that are inherently harmful. That's an F for you, Phineas and Ferb. Conversely, those who speak in African American Vernacular English, or AAVE, which is an English dialect spoken primarily by Black Americans, are often viewed as loud or ghetto. These characters are portrayed in media disproportionately as criminals and rule breakers, conjuring up the image that anyone who speaks in a similar manner must be a delinquent. 65% of unnamed gangster characters across 26,000 famous Hollywood releases have been credited to Black male actors, further perpetuating this image. When someone goes into a job interview with an accent, they are automatically perceived differently from a regular candidate. According to Packard Communications, a foreign accent influences an employer's perception of a potential employee's performance capability. A whopping 40% of employers have admitted to judging Hispanic people specifically because of their accents, and sometimes even just assuming that they were illegal immigrants. This means that even just rolling your R's could literally cost you your job. Are you kidding me? This shows that an accent becomes a barrier to career progression, even in the modern workplace, and is continued to be discriminated against. Accent bias leads to people feeling insecure and alienated, and often ends with people trying to mimic the correct pronunciation of words. And a phenomenon called accent accommodation occurs, where speakers chip away at their own accents to sound more correct or just be easier to understand. A lot of workplaces, universities, and speech therapy programs even offer accent reduction programs to get rid of wrong-sounding or foreign accents. Some workplaces even require foreign employees to take these courses in order to, quote-unquote, improve communication skills. The problem is clear. We listen to accents and use our preconceived notions to make assumptions about a person's character. And we usually do it without realizing. And this usually has negative impacts on multiple aspects of a person's life: personal, professional, and psychological. The first thing to do is to recognize your unconscious bias. Learn to focus on the content of a conversation over the delivery of it. So the next time you run into someone with an eccentric accent, just remember, they didn't have one till they got here. Thank you.